There we go. Cool. All right. Welcome to this webinar or this episode of the series of webinars that we're doing. This is Jonathan Clark. My cohort over here is Jean Marie.
Hello.
Aloha.
Hello, hello. Aloha. Yes,
Aloha.
yes.
We're
Aloha.
absolutely, and we're talking Hawaiian because we have an upcoming event in Hawaii, which we're going to tell you about a little bit later on. But we're going to have a whole bunch of our friends and colleagues there, people that we really rate, people that we really believe in, and we are kind of interviewing them one at a time. In the hot seat today is Mr. Bertie Roux. Jeannie, do you want to introduce Bertie to our audience?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Bertie has been, we've known each other, I think, is it 3 or 4 years now, at least, Bertie? We were introduced back. Was it three, I think?
Probably more.
More. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. And you know what? Time just goes so quickly, and we've just enjoyed the business colleague partner friendship that we've had. And Bertie was from South Africa when I met him, and he has traveled quite a bit since then. Transferred. He's over in I know you visited the Netherlands and are now in Canada, if I'm not mistaken, correct? So I'm trying to keep up with him in that respect. But he has a wealth of knowledge. Oh my goodness. He is very much in tune with working with companies, working with HR teams, and building up finding out the areas that they need assistance. And Jonathan, you're going to love the conversation. He has turned around and been the recipient of so many awards. I know he's humble, doesn't want to talk about that, but he truly, truly is deserving. He works with people in learning about how their right brain, left brain works, the analysis and the, I would say it, thin slicing, giving an opportunity to find out the personalities of the different people on the teams, and why it's natural that maybe team A doesn't get along with team B, or person A doesn't get along with person B because of the personality traits and that. But am I spot on, or am I at least a little bit in the closeness of talking about what you do? As far as a company and corporation is concerned, what your target is?
Thank you very much, Jenny and Jonathan, for the introduction. You know, I'm more than excited. I may not show it, but inside I'm boiling about the opportunity to be part of this noticeable and notable event. Yes, but just to introduce myself, I am, as we call it, a Boertian from South Africa. My maiden language is Afrikaans, so that's a farmer boy from South Africa, born and bred in South Africa. But because of my children that moved globally, my son is now in Canada, Calgary in Canada. My daughter in Netherlands, Utrecht. We decided to join them because what I am passionate about and what I'm doing now and what the passion and purpose that I'm following now is all about people development. And to a certain extent, thanks to COVID, we have learned that, being online and speaking to people virtually has become much more a practice than the exception. I've learned, through my years, and I started my life out as a teacher. And then I moved into finance, and I moved into commercial and in HR. And I've basically been there, done that, from a junior level to senior management and executive level. I've realized that my passion has always been with people. The fact that people is so underrated because of the fact that we have been boxed in almost since our birth, because we have to fit in. And later on, maybe a little bit about that. But when I talk to people, I try to unearth, the real person, the true person. And that is also, why I have moved away from just being a coach rather to be a coach-mentor combination, because I believe that I do have the background, I do have the experience to mentor where it's needed. Why reinvent the wheel? So focusing on coaching to help to unearth the real and the true you, and then unleashing the potential. And that is my focus. That's my focus. That is why I'm writing a book about vision with imagination. My talk's essence is vision with imagination, because I believe that truly we need to have purpose. And purpose means I need to have a destiny. And I do need, to a certain extent, some of us will talk about a legacy. And that is what I've been focusing so far throughout my life as a teacher, with the kids in my classroom and the kids on the sports field, to members of my teams, and then the team leaders, of which I'm a member of often, or that I'm dealing with now at the moment. That's a better background.
Oh, Bertie, that is so perfect. It's a wonderful lead and segue, because I know you've got not only the competencies, the knowledge, skills, and experience, but you have specific tools you use in your analysis. And could you share a little bit about what, or the how of you come about doing what you do? Because I found it very unique and very interesting. And I know Jonathan well, so indulge us for a few moments on the how.
Yes. Let me just digress and just go a little bit back to middle 80s, when I first was part of a brand new management team that was put together as a team of excellence and experts. And I've learned then that, experts have got the ability to share, but they don't really do that. Forming a team of experts is extremely difficult, because the cohesion in the team is not necessarily there. So back in 1987, I got involved with leadership development through whole brain thinking. In other words, the left and right brain. I actually created a program at that time, even for my team, that not only that I was part of, but I had to lead. And I called it those days snakes and ladders. And those friends of mine that's watching, that's from the States, they will talk about chutes and ladders. So I believe that is what life is all about. You start a game by equipping yourself. Then you learn the expertise and you start moving up in your program towards a set goal, which in the game is, say, number 100. But in the process, we have the rules of the game that's governing us. We must first be able to throw 6 to start. So I first need to equip myself. Okay. And then I throw the numbers and I move up, the blocks. But then I've got opportunities. Like life has got opportunities, which is the ladders. So when you're focused in life, you will see the opportunities. But sometimes, and most of the time, because we don't have a defined in state, in mind, purpose, goal, a vision, a destination, we don't see the opportunities. Even if they scream at us, think us to take it, we don't see them. But the moment we see, we understand where we're going, those come through. And that is the ladders in the game. And the ladders will therefore be, and in terms of the game, if you throw a 3 and the ladder's on 2, life tells you, that the game tells you, you can say pass, because I'm waiting for a 1 or a 2, because I know the opportunity. But the risk in life is also there. Those are the snakes or the chutes. If you throw a number, you end up on the head of the snake or the start of the chute. Down you go, my friend. There's no control. That's real life. I can't then say pass. So that I developed to help my teams with their personal development, to an element of unrealistic expectations, because people want more salary, they want a bigger, more responsibility, sometimes accountability, and therefore bigger title, and therefore more money, but they might not be ready. it might not the right time. That's not the right ladder. So I created this to help them. But where does it bring me now with talk about vision with imagination and whole brain thinking? Is the fact that before we do these things and start with our life journey, we need to know who we are. Who am I? And I have found that the whole brain thinking concept of Dr. Kobus Neethling helps you very much to understand who you are. What is your thinking preference? In other words, why do I do what I do the way I do it? And Jimmy, that's the essence. Because if I know why I do what I do the way I do it, I understand other people, why they do what they do the way they do it. And when we talk about the whole brain and the whole brain thinking, we talk about left brain, right brain, where the left being more analytical and the right being more emotive or emotional. It tells you immediately that when we talk to one another, the language we use is different. Facts and figures on the one hand, the left side. And as I say, the more emotion, and I don't want to use the term creative, but the right brain is more emotional, more people orientated. So we talk the language, we speak differently. So until we understand the difference, and that is where it is so important. And in Vision with Imagination, when I talk about it, I talk about 3 pillars in this whole program of mine, which is understanding and creating the vision, understanding who I am, and then seeing the future. And therefore, and the core of this whole program, and that would also be very much the core of my talk in Hawaii, would be, who am I? Because if I know who I am, everything will fall into place, because my ability to be part of a team, to be leading a team, to speak the language, right time, the right place, comes naturally, because I talk from my heart, because I talk from my personal thinking preference.
I love this. I love this. Jonathan, I have to share with you. So about a year or 2 ago, I took is it a test? Is that what you call it, Bertie? A test?
It's a profile test. Yeah.
And profile test. So, and because I believe in, understanding, and I wanted to understand more about who I am. And if you remember, Bert, it really was kind of shocking to me, but you said not so much for you. But my particular analysis that he did showed that I am equal on right brain and left brain. How would you describe that? Is that you said that was unusual, which people know I'm unusual, but share just a little bit about that, how you're what that means.
Yeah, as a whole brain practitioner, giving feedback to people, it's always easy when you do their profile and they've got a dominant quadrant. Like myself, I'm off the page. R1, and when we talk about the left brain, it's L1, left 1 and left 2, and R1 and R2. And I'm off the charts, and the right quadrant where I am off the chart is the innovative strategic thinking. That's where I'm at. So it's easy to then explain who's Bertie, because you've got a dominant quadrant. But people, there are some people that is fairly balanced in terms of all 4 quadrants. And those kind of things happen, and not only because that is the way you put together, God created you, but it's also that obviously we develop skills in areas that we don't necessarily enjoy so much. But we understand that life is full of challenges, and there's certain things that we simply need to do. I mean, I cannot get paid until I submit my job card. So something needs to be done. So if I hate the job card, I must not expect my pay. So there's certain things that just happens, and then it's challenging, but it's also the ability then to understand being whole brain, because I must now understand the other quadrants, but because I'm dealing with people that whose thinking preference is from that quadrant. And there's no right and wrong here. It is just them. So once understand, so you can understand the engineer, you can understand the chartered accountant, you can start to understand the musician, the painter, the HR practitioner. You can understand them because of their thinking preference. That's them. So there is something like 18 different profiles that we can do, and we can overlay them and test them like a leadership profile or leadership style profile, and then your personal profile. So back to you, Jeannie. It is honestly, it's the more difficult one when people are balanced, or when they even strong at opposites, because the L1 and the L2 and the R1 is opposites. Then people sort of can be comfortable in both of them, and sometimes extremely important to do that. And you are intuitively, I can almost say, extremely balanced and understand that you need to operate in an environment and where you grew up as a professional person. You need to, like I say, intuitively be whole brain thinking, because you sit with a team that you have experienced that's different. You will be able to say why A talks and speaks a certain language, and do things in a certain way, want action in a certain way, to C or B or D. So that is where the uniqueness comes through, and the feedback. And then a person like you would say, now I understand. You say, now I understand why I do what I do the way I do it. This is how I put together.
Absolutely. And I think you pressed on a real key point, that there is no right or wrong, and it's nothing bad about whatever your analysis reflects. There is nothing negative about the individual. This is just who they are. Jonathan, before I ask the next question, do you have any input or your thoughts?
I'm a big fan of any kind of personality profiling tool. I think it helps put order into the chaos as we try and understand ourselves and other people. I go back to a couple of things that Bertie said that I really like. I think the only thing you ever do in life is learn more about yourself. I think every single experience you go through ultimately tells you something about you. You are your own favorite subject. The other person is that other person's favorite subject. So, you're always taught to use the client's name because that's who they want to hear more about. You always look at yourself in a photograph because that's the way it works. You also hear that the unconscious mind takes everything personally. So it's always about you. Everything's about you. I think really go right back to the start of what Bertie said. I think there's an underlying presupposition right at the start, which I think is really interesting. Is that, are you doing what you're meant to be doing? Are you in the right role for the way you're wired? There's so many people who are employees, corporate America, UK, Europe, whatever, who are in roles that just don't fit the way they are wired. If you're putting someone who likes variety and change and imagination and creativity into a call center where they say the same script 100 times a day, they're going to go slowly insane. So I love that idea about uncovering who you really are. And I think to avoid that misery, or that people who set career goals and then they get there and they reach the top of the ladder and they get the golden handshake and they're completely unfulfilled because it was never their goal in the first place. It was their parents' goal or their father's goal or whatever, or they felt that they should do it. And I think an entrepreneur and a business owner, a self-employed person, more than anyone, needs to know who they really are, because there's a great phrase that says that ideas are the coin of the entrepreneur, right? The self-employed person or the entrepreneur is getting paid to solve problems and is going to earn money from their innovation and from their ideas and from their unique stuff that they produce. So I think it's even more important that an employee should know who they are, but a self-employed person or business owner, an entrepreneur, they really need to know who they are, because they're in charge of the helm. they're in charge of the ship. And if they're on the wrong ship, well, they've got the wrong crew, we've got problems. So I love this stuff. Absolutely love this stuff.
Yeah. Jonathan, that's actually so important. The ultimate goal would be to find the job that you love doing. And because if you can do that, what you love doing, and you do that, it energizes you. Whilst if the other side of the coin, if you're in a position that you don't enjoy, it saps your energy. And the awareness about that is quite important when you go through this exercise with people, so they just understand that nobody says, it's easy to be a leader of organization. There's nobody says it's easy to be at the top. It's extremely lonely, but forget about the loneliness, but the ability to understand yourself in order then to be able to manage those that you're in contact with. And if you know what buttons to press on each of your team members, you will get them functioning optimally, because you will entrust them with certain activities and roles. And when you, for example, get a whole brain team, thinking team together, and you have that approach, you will know that in the team, everybody would know if they ask, let's say, person A for a comment or their view, that when they give their view, 99% of the time, that would be the general consensus of the team. Then we can entrust them with activities to come up with solutions uniquely. So we don't have to give it to everybody else, because at the end of the day, let's use an example in presentation, in documents that you present to somebody. If you give a left brain person 3 or 4 pages and ask them to make a decision, they can't. If you give a right brain person a Bible to study and make a decision, they won't, and they can't. In other words, back to the language, you need to understand that the left brain person needs to test whatever is said from his own perspective, analysis, and check, do a reality check. So you need to give him all the information. On the right-hand side, you need to give him all the information if you so wish, but you give him an intro and an executive summary, and the right brain person only read those 2 pages. And based on that, they can make their decision on the spot. So those awareness and that information is so crucially important. So you are absolutely spot on when we talk about, about that. And I want to just jump quickly into the talk itself, where I'm saying that the theme of the week is about, mental health and wellness. Yes, Monday, Tuesday is about business, but I do not plan to talk about business, because I talk about the people in the business. My clients is business leaders and executive, but also the ethical and the purpose-driven organizations. At the moment we talk about ethics, we talk about purpose, it changes the scene. We just accept that those people understand business and know what it means to be in business. But to be successful in business, to be beyond the thinkers, in other words, being like the eagle, which is my logo, it's to see the world and from a different perspective than just sitting in the boardroom and strategizing from the seat of your chair. It's a different perspective around business, where we start with, who am I? And then ask the same question. What's my business like? Who's my business? Are we truly what we say? We talk about all these, strategic planning exercises. We go and we spend a lot. We take people all over the world to do this, just change of scenery. And I'm saying, I don't believe that you need a change in scenery. Just be like the eagle. Go up there in the space how you can, and then look down and you see. Then you've got a change of scenery, because you see the world from a different perspective. And all of a sudden, you are focusing on the globe, the world, you focus on your continent, you're focusing on your country, you're focusing on your state, and then you're down to your municipality, your fermenta, or what you want to call it, and down to your town. You just bring it down to where you are sitting now. So you are looking at life from a total different perspective. So your view of your business and the vision of your organization is totally different. And when I do this to people, and they say, but how can you say to me, we must create a vision with imagination? I say exactly that. But now you can ask everyone in that team to contribute. Because the moment we are seated, you are expecting the HR guy to talk about the people, not about production. Because what does he know about production? But in true essence, he probably knows more about production and the good and the bad and the ugly production than you imagine. Because the people in those departments dealing with the problems come to HR and share with them with it. But we don't acknowledge them. But if we elevate our team into space and we strategize and create a vision from there, total different story. And that's why I love what I'm doing. Because the moment you start doing that, all of a sudden people realize that we can become the competition. We don't need to compete anymore. And that is what every company should be focusing and strategizing for, to become the competition, to become Elon Musk, become somebody that we all desire. But how do they get there? With a vision that people laughed about, but probably a result of their imagination.
Oh, Bertie, that is totally brilliant and spot on, and very much in sync with where we're going in Hawaii, what the strategy is, and to be able to reach out, and you can chime in, Jonathan, but our target audience, I mean, we're speaking to entrepreneurs, but anybody, this would apply to anybody in the corporate world. But our focus right now is on the entrepreneur, and not only if you are an entrepreneur starting out, or perhaps you were in the corporate world and are going now into entrepreneurship, you don't know what you don't know. And once you get in there, this is why we are here. We're providing resources, we're providing knowledge and understanding, because there is a gap. And with Bertie's vision with imagination, that is going to be key for you to have that ability to understand, to know your people, and not only your people, because maybe you're a solopreneur or someone who doesn't have people under them, but you need this for the people that you're dealing with, your clients, your vendors, your third-party vendors, and the other global influencers, your mentors, and that all this knowledge is applicable, in my mind, to whatever stage you are in as an entrepreneur. You could be even at the end, and Jonathan, you pick up from here, but I just feel that it applies to everyone.
Well, the thing I like about what Bertie's talking about is we're talking about the difference between strategy and tactics. You know, anytime we go abstract and global and up into big meta concepts like this, we have more power, we have more influence, we have more control, and we actually make more money. You know, who makes more money? The private in the army who's got to lug all the stuff and polish their shoes, or the general in the army who decides where all the privates go? Anytime you operate up here in strategy always trumps tactics. And unfortunately, we get sucked into tactics. We think about, oh, I've got to post on Facebook. I've got to go to that networking event. I've got to get my business cards done. And we get stuck in the day-to-day grind. And sometimes we lose track of where the heck we're working so hard to get to. Whereas what Bertie's talking about, at the level of self-identity, at the level of vision, at the level of what is the purpose of my business, if you get that clear, then all the tactical stuff takes care of itself. Or you know which of all the myriad of things you could be doing that you should be doing, right? And you certainly don't want to spend the next 30 years doing something that is drudge, and you grudge every minute of it, and it's grind, and your client phones you up and you go, oh God, I've got another client. You don't want that. You're in the wrong role. You should be doing stuff that when you wake up in the morning, you go, I get to do this. I get paid to do this. This is even better. This is great. I'm having a ball. I think for me, getting paid to help people is the ultimate, for me, that's the ultimate thing. I get to help people and I get paid as well. That is awesome. That meets my values. That fits my identity. You know, I'm not an employee. I tried that once. I didn't like the way it felt. You know, I do. Don't ever want to do that again. I'm not built for that stuff. And I think if the person who's watching this right now is able to get a kind of X-ray or a kind of, you know, blueprint, right? This is how you're wired. And you can try and fight it and beat it into submission, and you're going to meet a lot of friction. Or you can go with it and learn to adapt to it and learn to live with it because it's just easier. You know, it's go with the flow, but go with your personal flow, right? But you need to know what your personal flow looks like. And I think that's why spend some time with Bertie. You're going to come out profoundly. Your thinking is going to be profoundly different, but your thinking is going to be firing on all 6 cylinders in the same direction, possibly the first time ever. Right, and dissolve any of that internal conflict, that struggle. What should I be doing? There's a part of me saying one thing, there's a part of me saying something else. Get rid of all that. It goes quiet in here, and all of a sudden you feel like, I know what my sat nav is set. I know where I'm going. You know, my navigation system tells me to go that way, and it feels good. And very often, that's how you can tell whether you're doing the right thing. Is does it feel good? You said something interesting earlier on, Bertie, and I want to challenge you with something that I heard a client of mine say. You said something about doing what you enjoy doing, right? Find the business that thrills you. Find the activities that light you up and give you energy and make you feel fulfilled. And I had a client once say to me, "Is that the right thing to do? Like, am I allowed to do that?" Right? It was almost like, is it wrong to enjoy what you do? Isn't work meant to be like grind and graft and hard, you know? And I thought, oh, that's a really interesting question. So let me put that question to you.
Yes, I mean, I get the question a lot.
Yeah.
And I answer it from this perspective. Say, listen, every single one of us were born unique, gifted by God. Okay? But we grew up and spending our time to fit in rather than stand out. With our God-given talents, we were destined to stand out, to contribute beyond expectations. But what is forcing us into that box, and that applies to just us as an individual, as a family, as a team, as a company. I can do everything. We try to fit in to whose rules? Who actually set those rules? But the community, you know, our religion, our spirituality, you know, our education, our school, everything, try to mold us to people that can say, yeah, yes, sir, and no, sir. That's easy to do it. But yeah, and that's when I go, why I go back to God, our birth, and saying, that's how we were born. We just should just live our life. But we don't do that. We don't spend enough time, as I say, we don't spend enough time in the mirror. Because we are also brought up, I mean, from where I come in South Africa, you know, as a youngster, if you spend too much time in the mirror, you are labeled to be vain. But that is why I don't know who I am. I know who you are, and I know who Jeannie is, and everybody that sits opposite my eyes. I look at them and I see uniqueness and I see perfection and all those things, and I desire everything. And instead of just saying, but I am actually perfect as I am. I'm enough. This is me. And that's why I'm saying during the program in Hawaii, in terms of the breakaway, I'd love to speak to people about the concept of I am me and I am enough, because that in essence is the part that will take me to my deserved future, and spend time with that. And I invite people, once they listen to my talk or what, a little bit more, they just go a bit deeper into that, because it's exactly what you say. We believe that we don't have the right to be successful, to be great, to be good, to be beautiful, to be fantastic. No, you were born unique and gifted. Those are your gifts. Live it. Don't put it under the bucket so that nobody can seize it. And unfortunately, many of us live those lives. That's why unleashing that from the inside, coaching responsibility, and both of you are coaches. And I mean, that's our biggest task, is to unleash that from people's inside, to say to them, you're hitting it there, you're fantastic, you're super, you're great, you're a champion. Just let it go. Bring it to the fore. I'm not telling you that. It's inside you already. It's like Jeannie was saying, we don't know what we do know. We don't know who we really are.
And that is stated so beautifully. And Jonathan, did that suffice with your answer, what you were looking for, and then some, right?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same as what I said to my client. But and Bertie just came out with a great soundbite, and I wrote it down. Do you want to fit in, or do you want to stand out? I think as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, fitting in isn't for you. So
not enough. That's not enough.
Yep.
Truly. And I think, that's a wonderful segue into what we're doing and where we're going and what we're going to be doing in Hawaii. Jonathan, it's 7 days. I'll let you do your intro there, but we truly want to share with you a little bit about Hawaii and why we're doing this.
Absolutely. So what are you doing on October 22nd? Because what we'd like you to do is come and spend a week in Hawaii. Now, that on its own would be pretty cool. However, we're going to be doing a whole bunch of other things. Let me share my screen and tell you what we're doing. We've got a week in paradise coming up, and we have got a lot of speakers coming in. Myself and Jeannie are going to be there. We've got all our guys. Bertie's going to be there. And there's 3 main core pillars or thrusts, if you like, to what we're going to be covering when we're there. The first one is financial wellness. The first one is absolutely about money and wealth and business, getting paid to do what you enjoy doing. That's very much a part of it. Secondly is the whole area of mental health, because ultimately this is what runs your business. So, keeping your head together, very, very important. Are you stressed out your box? Are you sleeping at night? Are you developing an ulcer because you're so worried about how things are going? In a world full of uncertainty, the leader, the thought leader, the entrepreneur needs to know where they're going and needs to know what to do next. And if you have a team, they're looking at you to know what to do next. So there is pressure. You need to be able to handle that pressure. The third is going to be mind, body, spirit. We are going to cover all those aspects because the mind runs the body. The Greeks knew that. The Romans knew that. Whatever your thoughts are affects your physicality. And we have a whole raft of tools and areas of endeavor that we're going to share with you. I had the good fortune of going to Hawaii on 5 occasions to learn some very, very heavy metaphysical, spiritual stuff. And I'm going to be teaching some of that back in Hawaii where I learned it, as well as a few business concepts as well. But we've got a whole bunch of experts in all 3 areas. So this is very much a CAT scan 3D perspective of who you are. And you can come for any or all of these segments. All right. So that's our invitation. Do you want to come and join us? Here's what you're going to get if you invest in yourself. The 22nd to the 29th of October on the Big Island in Kona, we're having the Entrepreneurs Accelerator Summit. Ultimately, what we're looking to do, let me go back to that slide. We're looking to cut down your working hours to something like 5 hours a week. Imagine a 5-hour work week. Have you live longer and healthier, and ultimately reach your financial goals so you can retire early or retire your partner early. That's why you started the business, to have the time freedom. So we want to help you do that. That's why it's called an Entrepreneur Accelerator. We want to get you there faster. That means working less hours, but making more money. That means leaving a legacy, making a positive impact on people, training your body to generate and store more energy, or what in Hawaii they call mana, or in China they call chi, or in Japan they call ki. Have your body have more energy. How's your energy levels? Do you hit a wall at 9 p.m.? Or would you like to be able to go longer? Creating innovative products and services. Use your right brain and your left brain. Get rid of this work-life balance fallacy. It's the other way around. It's work-life balance, surely. You work to finance the life that you want to have, right? So get that the right way around. Learning and growing from hundreds of years of experience, creating a business model that works for you, and as we said, leaving a legacy. So We have a 7-day Entrepreneur Summit. It's valued at $7,444. It's expensive to go to Hawaii. However, we're going to make it juicy for you. What else do you need when you're there? You're going to need accommodation. So how about we put you up in the venue? How about we include accommodation in the King Kamehameha Resort, which is on a sacred site where King Kamehameha's bones were laid out to dry. This is a powerful meeting of the minds, absolutely coming with the aloha spirit, absolutely coming with humility and respect for the culture that we're walking into. We're bringing people to the islands. We're bringing money to the islands. If you've seen recent events in Maui, we hope to help with that as well, because these guys need our help. So why not do that? We can put you up in the venue. You're going to be in a hotel full of speakers and networkers and business people and entrepreneurs, a brain trust for 7 whole days. All right. So what else have we got for you? It gets better. It gets better. We're going to throw in a fire walk. You ever walked on fire? You ever walked barefoot on red hot coal? Originally came from India. Tony Robbins made it mainstream in the 80s when he went to one of his teachers, John Grinder, and asked, I need an angle, I need a shtick, I need something to hang my hook on. John Grinder suggested something the Western mind can't comprehend. So Tony did the fire walk. In Hawaii, they used to walk across recently cooled lava. Think about that. Recently cooled lava. We'll have you walk on red hot coal if you're brave enough, and you'll enjoy it. It's a good fun picnic skill to have. So that would cost you $2,500 if you shopped around looking for that. We've thrown that into the mix. We're also going to give you a genuine Hawaiian luau. So you're going to be entertained by Hawaiians. You're going to hear the chants. You're going to see the hula. You're going to eat Hawaiian food under the Hawaiian moon on a sacred site. How cool is that? The company's called Island Breeze, and they are going to run that on our behalf in the island. That alone would be another couple $100. So totally, we're at $12,500 for this. Now, you know how these things work. If you're on a webinar like this, you ain't going to pay that amount of money. What if you cut your working hours down to 5 hours a week? Would it be worth coming to Hawaii for 7 days? If that's what it did. Would it be worth it? Would it be worth it if you lived longer? What if we added 10 years to your life and you stayed healthy and strong and had your faculties and energy and flexibility? Would that be worth a 7-day event? What if it gave you the ability to shave off 5 years from your working career life and retire 5 years early? Would that, you might end up going back to Hawaii. That's one of my goals. So it would be a good deal at 12,000. The price will be 7,444 in due course, but right now we're in early bird phase, so it's less than that. And because you're here, this is the price we're offering at 5,444 is today's price. If you're interested in joining us, you go to acceleratedentrepreneur.org. You can see all the information about what we're going to be doing, all the speakers, including Bertie, all the events that are there, the accommodation, you can see that as well. You can do a walkthrough of the hotel and the grounds, and you can see exactly what is going on there. So we have a choice for you. You can either do nothing, and you will quickly get sick of seeing our webinars and our social media images and our success stories and all the footage of all the things that you missed. And you'll be going, if only I'd gone to Hawaii. Or go to the website, pick one of the 4 packages and join us in Hawaii. That's our invitation. So anything else you want to add, Jean Marie? Anything else you want to add, Jean Marie?
Yes, there is so much. You shared with us the value and what people will be getting out of it and taking back with them. This is about transformation. I mean, because what you are learning from my global influencers are truly, bar none, they have the competencies. Bertie is a prime example of that. People will have business areas of expertise on Monday and Tuesday. There will be talks on cybersecurity. There will be talks on safety. There will be talks on leadership, diversity and inclusion, metaverse, AI. What am I forgetting? The business side of it, NLP then, and definitely the body, mind, and spirit. We've got the transformation. We have just such wonderful experts in the various areas, and the mental health and wellness side of it, truly, with Emma Weaver from Ireland, and she has her own nonprofit as well as profit, which we didn't talk about that. A lot of our underlying theme with everything that we do is about mental health and wellness. And it is, a lot of this is preventative. And it works together with what we are doing and where people are at. There may be someone who is in a situation of caregiving. We have a family caregiving individual with family planning, and that tremendously has stress in itself. So whether you're dealing with young children or if you're approaching retirement and you're uncertain, we've got the resources. So not only will you have access to these individuals the entire time, you will be crossing in the halls, you will be able to have a meal with them. It includes 2 meals, Jonathan, and the people will have the ability to listen to the talks, and each one will have their signature talk and their passion, the story. But then there will be a networking program with Shelley Jorgensen with executive networking events, the inner circle where the 3 of us truly met. But her networking is a program. This is not, maybe I'll attend, maybe I won't. This is a program. You are here to work, but it will benefit you because networking is an art. There is truly a secret to it. It is an art, and it is necessary for an entrepreneur to have that knowledge and to learn the skill to elevate the business and to, accelerate, right?
Absolutely. A lot of people do networking, but they think that networking is going to a meeting and throwing business cards around, like throwing stars, and then they don't come home with any business, and they wonder why that doesn't work. So they butterfly to another networking event and try that, and they do the same things there, and that also doesn't work. Who's the common denominator here? There's definitely a skill to networking and forming alliances, and we want to teach you how to build rapport with people. We want to teach you to form alliances. We're going to have people, we're going to deliberately engineer meetings for you and make sure that we hook you up with the right people based on whatever your goals are. All right, so that's why we're asking people to fill in forms, so we know exactly why you're coming and what you want out of it. We want to make sure you get what you want out of it. We're going to show you how to tap into Amazon's database and create products and services the same day that we know are going to fly because they're based on real-time sales, right? We can tell you what you should be selling. But it's never been easier, and it's going to be a phenomenal event. We call it an event because it's going to be event full. We're also going to be giving away a little special bonus if you book as a result of the website. If we see you coming through the website, we're also going to give you a meditation. We're going to be doing lots of meditation. I'm going to run a meditation from Hawaiian Huna during the week. But you maybe heard of Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is a process where you get pono with people. You bury the hatchet, you say what needs to be said, and you get all the cards on the table so that everybody walks away, everything done, nothing unspoken, no hidden agendas, no grudges held. Get clean and get pono. There is a certain 10-word affirmation being bandied about. It's been bandied about for about the last 10 years, which is not the Hawaiian process of Ho'oponopono. We're going to teach you the genuine article, and we've actually got it recorded on audio. So we're giving this as a bonus to anybody who books the training. The first 5 people who book it, they're going to get a copy of Ho'oponopono on audio as well. It's at acceleratedentrepreneur.org. The website's there right now. You can get your choice of 4 different kinds of packages. And if you have any questions at all, by all means, put them in the Facebook or put them under the video on this platform, wherever you watch this video. or email us and contact us, and we will be happy to answer any questions you've got. Jean Marie, Bertie, is there anything else we need to talk about before we wrap up?
Goodness. No, just real quickly, I just feel that if you are watching this, it's a divine appointment. You are meant to see it and to be there. You will have, the value is priceless. In addition, this has the financial wellness component, and you will not get this anywhere. We have the experts in the house, so to speak, right, Jonathan?
Oh,
And
yeah, all of them.
bar none. And you're going to just enjoy the people, because it's about people making a difference. And I love that. And my mantra is just so near and dear to my heart, but every single one of them we will call and are calling our ohana, our family. And that means nobody left behind.
That's what it's about. Bertie, anything you want to add?
Yes, I just want to invite everybody to come to my talk. And the subject will be unleashing the creativity for an inspired future. But I want to leave you with the comment about the 3 Ps, which I also believe it's a woven thread through everybody's talk during the 7 days. The 3 Ps is passion plus purpose equals prosperity. So if you've got your passion and your purpose aligned, prosperity will follow suit. And that is not necessarily dollars or yen or pound sterling. We are talking about success. We talk about happiness, fulfilled life being your prosperity that you got. But you need to get your passion and your purpose aligned. And if you join us this week in Hawaii, that is exactly what you will be working on, and you will go home with that recipe, that you have what it takes to be fulfilled and being successful. Thanks for watching.
Oh my goodness. And Bertie, you reminded me of one other thing, Jonathan, what each one of these speakers, the value that they will also get is they will be doing a 90-minute workshop or training or the coaching. Where can you go for something like that at that price and come back with all that knowledge? And as they share their experience, that value is priceless. But I love that. Passion plus purpose, it does equal prosperity. And Jonathan, I'll let you go ahead and wrap up here.
I've said to all the speakers, I don't want them coming to just, fill an hour, talk about what you normally talk about, trot out a piece of content that you can do with your eyes shut. No, I want their best stuff. I want them presenting the stuff of their life. I want people coming out of every single training room profoundly impacted, wishing they were in one of the other ones, or talking about the one they were in, because I want every one of those segments to be profound and valuable and just packed with useful information. So people come home armed. The whole thing is also going to be recorded, audio and visually, and people who attend will have access to all the recordings. If you think you've missed something, you're going to get it. You're going to get it all, okay, forevermore. It's going to be a big event. It's October. If you can join us, please do. If you have any questions, all you need to do is get yourself there. We'll take care of everything else. We'll take care of everything else. Just get yourself there. And we'll close today with what they say in Hawaii when they say, I hope to see you again. They say, a hui ho. And thank you very much for being here, which is mahalo nui.
And mahalo nui.
Thank you, Bertie.
Thank you.
Gratitude. Mahalo, Bertie.